on, everybody? This is James Bush from Let's Have MANversation, where we're shooting whatever won't get us kicked off of network television. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. Joseph Wilson from the Love Unscripted podcast. I call him Mr. Love Unscripted. Joseph, step on up to the plate. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Yo.
Man, Joe. Tell my audience a little bit about yourself and all that you do.
Oh, no problem. So first and foremost, what's up, everybody? Joseph Wilson. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm also host of the Love Unscripted podcast, where we have unscripted conversations with millennials about relationships and dating. I love supporting people. That's what it is. I love people. And I'm excited for us to be able to continue this dialogue around MANversations. So I'm excited.
Man, you know, since you mentioned the word dating and everything we've been hearing about dating recently, what would you say in a couple of words of how dating has changed post-pandemic?
Ooh, it's digital. There's increased access to dating without filters for depth, I'll say. It's easy to get in touch with people. It's easy to find potential suitors, but it's difficult now to weed them out, like go through a criteria. And I think people have gotten so used to doing things digitally and getting things quick, fast, and in a hurry that we don't really do the people part in person. Like it takes a lot of courage to stand in front of somebody and explain to them who you are, why you even want to approach them in the first place, or to share intimate details about your life, about where you grew up, what are your hopes for the future, and what you want your family to look like. So a lot has changed since the pandemic.
Man, you ain't lying. So moving along, Joseph, you are familiar with the term MANversation, are you not?
I am.
Man, that's awesome. That is beautiful. So I got to ask you this one question, my brother. Why are MANversations important in today's society?
I think we need to have more conversations around manhood, and for the purpose of gaining information that we may not have had growing up. Okay. If we look at the statistics, most men, especially Black men, 80% grow up without a male figure in the home. So that's a big gap of information that we are missing in our lives and our daily experience. But that doesn't mean we can't obtain the information. There are men who have gained the tools at different points in their lives that we can learn from. And so I think having those conversations and having them in front of people allows us to model what conversation looks like, to even begin to start talking about some of these things that are near and dear to our hearts.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned tools a lot. Tools. So I'm thinking, foundational tools, hammers, nails, saws, and things like that, they are applicable to today. But some tools that they were using in the Stone Age more than likely would not translate to current times. And with that being said, some of the stuff that maybe our grandfathers or great-grandfathers or even fathers utilize in their dating experience in their time period may not translate today. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's a lot of social, I'll say, constructs that were difficult and that were given that did not benefit everyone as a whole, especially men. But there are some principles that are not going to go away. For instance, how you talk to people matters. That's a skill that has to be developed. Here's another one, and I'm talking about men. How you receive criticism, how you receive critique, how you receive correction. It's a skill that you have to learn and you have to cultivate. How you interact with the opposite sex, your sister, your mom, your daughters, that is a skill that has to be taught. And those things are foundational principles that are going to exceed time. But if you don't have them, how do you use them? So that's where these MANversations have to be in the forefront. Shoot, it needs to be on national television. What are the positive tools men need to be able to function in a society, as well as having society understand how we do things? Because it's not always about us having to change the society. Society has to understand how men do certain things, how we use certain tools, and then they have to deal with their either discomfort or they're not liking how we do things. That's not an us problem. That's a societal problem. But it is our job to get the skills that allow us to be functioning members of society so that we don't hurt ourselves first and foremost, and then those around us.
You mentioned a lot about education and society. And do you think there's been enough MANversations or conversations around what men like or desire in our current society, our current existence now?
No, I don't think enough conversation is being had about it. And I think part of it, and here's my challenge to you, and another Black male therapist challenged me on this too. He said it's our fault. He said part of it is the people who have the information. We're not out there creating platforms like this enough to get the mass of men the tools so that society can have a more scientific and a more how do I say, like a natural standpoint of how men are and how we operate. We can explain it. The average man may not be able to articulate it well. They just may be able to come from a place of, this is how I feel, this is how I do it, and this is why I'm doing it. Us as clinicians can have the conversation, say, hey, your nature versus nurture, there's two things that are playing a part here. This is how it needs to be broken down, and here's how you can make your behavior function in your community. We have to be the ones to do that. And so I want to encourage us to keep having these and collaborate and get other men together, like the conference that you're doing. Like, we need to have people together, men together, to have these conversations so that we can show society what it really is, and society doesn't have to define it, what men want for us, because everybody telling us what we want and it's not even close.
I mean, you're right about that. I mean, matter of fact, we can even see if we can go to the Cheesecake Factory and have it. Anyway, Joseph, tell my audience where they can find you at.
Oh, most definitely. You can find me on Instagram at love.unscripted. You can find me on iTunes and Spotify at the Love Unscripted Podcast. And you can find me on YouTube at Love Unscripted HD. And that's where you can find more of my content.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Joseph, stay with me for 1 minute. Announcements. LHM Let's Have MANversation, Huntsville, Alabama, December 1st and 2nd at the Omega Center, 181 Import Circle Northwest. For more information on attending, vending, sponsorships, or panel guests, visit the bit.ly streaming below, or you can contact us via email with the keyword contact@letshavemanversation.com. That is keyword contact@letshavemanversation.com. And also another addition to this, we have the Manspirator, or I like you to become a Manspirator. 365 days of affirmation, words of wisdom, and encouragement from yours truly, as well as Joseph, who's going to come on in the fray. I'm working on them, you guys. 365 days. Become a co-author. There's only 250 words that I need from each and every one of you brothers, man. Again, encouragement to your current self, your younger self, or, man, those of aging in your community. We need all the words of wisdom. That's how we begin to turn this thing around, by sharing the information via video media or via literary. Definitely. Once again, thank you for my guest, Mr. Love Unscripted, Mr. Joseph Wilson. Man, he's going to be joining us on the panel on December the 2nd as well, too. Man, we look forward to him. We know he's going to bring it as he usually does. You guys be blessed. Take it easy.